An issue debated by parents and experts, deciding the right amount of screen time for your child. A new study says that extended screen time can do long-term damage. The study by Drexel University found babies and toddlers allowed to watch television or videos may be a lot less interested in other activities later in life. A pediatrician with Novant Health in Brunswick County says in her experience, too much screen time too early can be detrimental, and that other forms of stimulation are crucial for young kids.
This is a very critical time for brain development, so they need everything. They need personal interaction, they need hands-on, they need to work with puzzles, and it's very important for their sensory, cognitive, and language development.
Dr. Tackman's advice is children between 2 and 5 years old can have about an hour of screen time. She says always using screens to calm kids down means they will always rely on higher stimulation to do so moving forward. Keep that in mind. Hey, we got top headlines, another check of your weather and traffic right after the break.